Hi, hello, welcome to the Quest Show. I am your host, Alana Quest, and no co-host today, and it's pre-recorded. Why, you may ask? Well, my co-host Honor has a previous engagement on Thursday, the night of our live show. So I decided to come and do quickie news. Just so we have a show on this week. But before we get on to these ridiculous topics today, I'm just going to ask everyone to please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Please tell your folks, we are trying to get as many subscribers as possible. So everyone knows that Trump's Mar-a-Lago got searched and not raided. So I'm not going to rehash all of that information, but I do want to bring it back up because today is Wednesday. So on tomorrow, there will be a hearing on whether to release the affidavit. So if you don't understand what's going on, which you really should, Trump was like, I'm being raided. My Mar-a-Lago home, my home. The FBI is raiding my home. So that was like last week, I think it was. And then the FBI is like, no, we came to get the documents that you have that belongs to the government. And Trump was like, documents? What documents? We don't have nothing here. Trump's, the Eric, the one nobody likes. Well, we don't like any of the kids, but nobody really likes Eric. Anyway, Eric's like, what are you talking about? My dad doesn't have any documents that belongs to the government. All he has is newspaper clippings and mementos. And, my dad, he has never even gotten a speeding ticket. So to raid his home for mementos doesn't make any sense. Garland gets on TV and he says, wait just a minute, Trumpsters. There's a search warrant. And what does the search warrant specify? Removal or destruction of records, obstruction of justice, and violating the Espionage Act. Yeah, those things. Now Trump goes, oh, wait a minute. I just remembered. I do have documents there. But they're declassified. Then come to find out the government's been trying to get these documents for over 18 months. 18 months of negotiating with this dude. 18 months. Like the gentleman white card privilege. Like Trump's got the white privilege card. This is 18 months of like, can you give us back our documents that you stole? Like you're asking a thief nicely to give you back the documents. You're the victim, right? You're the victim of theft. You know who the thief is, but then you call up the thief and you go, hey, can you bring back those things you stole from me? That's what the government did because Trump has a white card. So the government asks him nicely. He's like, yeah. So I guess they negotiated. And then his attorney said, hey, come get him. Here you go. We saw it. We saw when the National Archive people went and got the documents. So everyone thought that he gave back the documents. Apparently not. Apparently not. Because there must be a mole in the house. Because the mole was like, excuse me, government? No. There's more documents. They're in the basement with a padlock. You may want to come get them. Then there's a subpoena. And then Trump's like, subpoena, babina. Like, what is this? I eat subpoenas for lunch. That is Trump. I eat subpoenas for lunch. So, I don't know. It's just, this is where we are now. Search warrant. We're coming to get our documents. And that is exactly what they did. So, of course, so before that, all the Republicans, they just gathered around Trump and just gave him the big of the hugs and all of that stuff and told him it was going to be okay. We got your back. So all the Republicans were out going, Hey, release the search warrant. We want to know what's going on. Hey, he didn't take anything. Right? And it just, the goalposts kept moving. The more information that just kept coming out. And they kind of figured out like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. But now, because they got the search warrant that they asked, to be released, right? So now it's like, oh shoot, he's in trouble. And I'm pretty sure Trump is going, oh shoot, he's in trouble, because that search warrant, like I just read, violating the Espionage Act. I mean, dude, come on. Obstruction of justice, removal or destruction of records, all of which he has done. Because do we really think that Trump had documents for 18 months and he wasn't on the phone with Putin or his friend Kim somewhere trying to negotiate these top secret oh wait, did I not mention there were top secret and classified stuff in there? Right, that's money. Trump loves money. He has already been negotiating those documents. I mean, just my opinion, but if for him to have that for 18 months just sitting there without any negotiations or trying to get the highest bidder, do we really believe that? So now, of course, the FBI has to try to backtrack to see who has touched these documents, whose fingerprints are on these documents, right? Yeah, I don't know the technical term, but it's like a safety check because it's classified. I mean, people really think about it. If this is classified, this means, who we have, our spies that are over in other governments spying on them. Those names are in there. So now their lives could be in danger. They're saying that there may be nuclear stuff in there. Where our stuff is kept, our stockpiles are kept. This is very serious. It can endanger all of the U.S. and probably even further than that, because the French president, information on him was in that. And I'm sure like we have information on our allies, our adversaries, all in that. Trump is a whole fool. And anyone who's supporting this dude is a whole fool, but that's just a whole nother story. But so I digress. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, there's a hearing on the affidavit, which will not be released. It's just not. That investigation is active. They typically do not release these things with an active investigation because it's going to name who the mole is, what their investigation is. It's going to name a lot. And I don't even think the Republicans want this thing out. They're just saying it. So that did happen. Let's move on. Well, we're talking about like legalities and legal stuff. Let's go on and talk about Rudy. Today is Wednesday, and Rudy was in Fulton County. Yes, he was, because he was ordered to go there and speak in front of the panel, the grand jury. He probably pled the fifth. We don't know, because he did not say a word once he left there. So we don't know what happened there. He is the target of an investigation, and he knows this. Rudy is 78 years old. I don't know, Rudy. You may want to get to talking. I don't know. Did you see what happened to Cohen? I don't think you could do a good month in jail without your hair dyed. It just may not happen for you. You may want to tell Fonnie Willis, the DA, what she needs to know, because you're in trouble. You will be indicted. We did hear you on the phone. You did go down there and you lied. You lied about the voting machines. You lied about Shay Moss. You lied about what's her mom's name, Lady Ruby. You lied. You lied. And there's proof that you lied. So there was proof that you tried to help to overthrow the election. There's proof that you tried to get those ballots, more ballots. Like you just all in it, Rudy. Just talk. Just tell them what they need to hear. Also, what happened today was pretty interesting. Pence did come out and say, Well, he was in New Hampshire, of course, getting his presidential feet in the water. He did say that if the J6 committee asked him, maybe nicely, that he possibly would talk to them. I don't know if I believe that. Pence is just a whole, he just says things just to say things. He has no moral standing. Let's move on. What else happened? You guys know what happened? I don't know what else happened. Let's see. Let's keep going here. It's a weird thing trying to do a show without. One of these days I have to do this live so that I get in the habit of, just in case Honor is busy, I can do this on my own. So actually, let's see. So we talked about Rudy. We talked about the search warrant. He is a target of criminal investigation. Oh, Alan Weisselberg is expected on tomorrow to plead guilty in tax fraud. So it's been floating around that he made a plea deal and he's only going to do 5 months. So that's what's going on for him. So if you don't know who Alan Weisselberg is, or Weisselberg, if you don't know who Alan is, he is one of Trump's attorney, and I guess he ran the Trump org. So he is pleading guilty to tax fraud. Because he had been indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. He is cutting a deal. I'm not quite sure what that means, but one of the things that I do know is that since he cut this deal, he has waived his rights, so they could call him in to talk about what he knows. Like, he cannot plead the fifth after you've pled guilty. Right? So that if they want to talk to him, he has to talk and he can't lie, because then he'll be in trouble for perjury, and then his plea deal would probably be null and void. So yeah, Trump, the box is closing. It's just getting smaller and smaller. You're just going to be in a little box like this pretty soon, hopefully. Anyway, what else happened in the news? Anything? Florida. Jesus, Florida. Just crazy out here. DeSantis is just out of his mind. Do you hear me right now? So, what's up? All right. So, this is just like, I hate to talk about it because it's like enraging. So, a 16-year-old teenager wanted to have an abortion, and I believe in Florida that you have to be prior to 10 weeks. Like, it has to be before 10 weeks. 10 weeks and after, you cannot have an abortion in the state of Florida. I think that's the law. So I believe she was at 10 weeks, so she wasn't allowed to have this medical procedure. So she Googled some things and found out that she could appeal it, and that is exactly what she did. And her own handwriting. The 16-year-old also has no parents. She's an orphan. I hate saying the word orphan. It's just kind of weird to me. But she has no parents. I believe that she's living with friends right now, and she is pregnant. The father, I don't know how old he is, but according to what I read, he cannot take care of a child. She cannot take care of a child. She does not want to have a baby. She wants to stay in school. She says that she is not ready. Wait for it. The appeals court said that she is not mature enough to make the decision on whether she should have an abortion. I'll say it again. The appeals court said that this teenager, the one that said that she's not ready, the one that said that she wants to stay in school, the court is saying you're not mature enough to make the decision on whether you should have a baby or not. You can't make the decision on whether to have an abortion because you're not mature enough. The kid that wants to go to school is not mature enough. I say the court is not mature enough to make that decision. So what do we do now? We have the government like really in our bodies. So they're going to try to make this child have a child at 16 that desperately wants to go to school, that probably desperately wants to make something of herself. She has no parents. She's probably terrified of trying to be a parent to a child, and she didn't have parents. But the Florida court, GOP, they don't care. Because they don't care about your kids. They don't care about our kids. They care about power. They don't even care about policy. It's just a win. Just have the babies. That's Florida. And if this doesn't make you enraged and make you want to run to that ballot box, something's wrong with you. I think I heard today that white men right now are amped to vote because they're girls, they're daughters. They are terrified. People are terrified. This is just like one case that we know of. This is going to continue to happen. And those Republican states are going to continue to force these children to have children. It's insanity. More insanity coming out of Florida. Stay right here because there's some more coming out of Florida. Don't you fret. Okay? Don't fret. So Florida, the state that tries to make us believe that they love the kids, they've decided, well, they already did it. Matt Gaetz, the one who's being investigated for sex trafficking a 17-year-old, the one that actually paid a teenager and took her out of the country, that guy, he was allowed to speak at a Florida high school. You can't make it up. Someone being investigated for a sex crime is speaking in front of children. Oh, gotta love those pro-lifers, right? Gotta love them. They just out here doing the damn thing. It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. One more thing coming out of Florida this week. I mean, I know there's more coming out of Florida, but one more thing coming out of Florida. So because Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, doesn't want white discomfort in his schools. He doesn't want teachers to say the words gay. He doesn't want transgender kids to even exist. He doesn't want the word slave or the word slave or slavery in any of the books. He doesn't want anything in the books that talks about emotion. Well, because of these things, he's hemorrhaging teachers right now. And because he's hemorrhaging teachers, he's got this great idea. You know what the great idea is? Let's hire retired cops. Because that's what we need in school. So not only are we just going to hire anybody, right, and give them a signing bonus, because instead of letting the teachers teach, and instead of paying the teachers what they're worth, we're just going to get a bunch of unqualified people, but we're going to get unqualified people that are like cops or firefighters or EMS. Like, no, these people had important jobs before, so surely they must be able to teach. Oh, are we kidding right now? And then the second piece is that Black kids, what's going to happen to them with cops teaching? Black children are already getting brutalized by police on the street. So now they're going to get brutalized by the teacher cop. That's what's going to happen right now. Right. So what else I heard today, which is good news. Black parents are like, F this. So more and more Black parents are opting to pull their kids out of these schools and homeschool them. There's a school called called Melanin Grove or something like that. I have to get more information on that. But Black kids are being pulled out, groups of them, and they're doing homeschooling, grouped homeschooling. So it's almost like a small school. And they interviewed the parents, and the parents were like, I feel like my children are not going to be educated. I read the history books. This is not our history. We're not being represented at all. I want my children to learn. So they're pulling their kids out. I'm with it. Totally with it. So what else happened? The biggest news. I was about to close out without the biggest news. So Inflation Reduction Act passed and was signed this week. Yay. Big. This is monumental. This administration, the Democrats are delivering. They have delivered relief. They have delivered the PACT Act. They have delivered infrastructure. They have delivered Bin Laden's mentor. He's gone. He's met his maker. Right? And now the Inflation Reduction Act. And there's other things. There's like we got Ketanji is a justice now. Like they are delivering Black judges. He has been delivering. And this package right here, the Inflation Reduction Act, because who wins with this? Americans and the environment. The environment has got to win. Not only have Americans got to win, the environment has got to win. It's being billed as the biggest climate bill in history. And you know why it's the biggest climate bill? Because it's not that huge. It's the biggest climate bill because we've never had one. How is that possible? We've never had a climate bill, and we're literally in heat waves for 2 weeks in droughts. There's a drought, or there's a flood, there's a wildfire. Like the climate is insane right now. So this is very timely, and it's supposed to reduce carbon emissions by 40% by 2030. So that means that maybe our kids' will be able to live on this earth. The earth won't be too hot. So that is amazing. It's going to invest in small businesses. It increases small business tax credits, right? So I guess the tax credits for small businesses were $250,000. They're going up to $500,000. What else? Oh, wow. Let's go back a minute, too, because I forgot to add to what they've been delivering on. They delivered the CHIP Act, where that we can make the chips now. We don't have to go to China for like the computers and stuff. So Come on, who's saying that they ain't delivering? Wake up, everybody. Like, nobody's going to your house with like a check. Like, this is called delivering. This is what it is. Yes, we have not gotten the Voters Act passed yet. We understand that. But if we all come out in the midterms, then it's going to happen, because the Democrats are the party that are trying to get things done. Just when we thought that, because this is just a reincarnation of Build Back Better, but just when we thought that they were not working on this stuff, they absolutely were. They continue to work on this stuff. So they are working on it. We just don't know, because that is what the Democrats are doing, what they're paid to do. So if we deliver to them, they could deliver the rest of what they promised to do, right? These aren't broken promises, but you're making these promises because you're like, listen, if the conditions are right, we can do all of this. I promise you. The conditions have not been right because Manchin and Sinema have not been on board with getting rid of the filibuster. So we could get the Voting Rights Act passed. So we could get the George Floyd bill passed. So just be patient. Well, you have to go out for the midterms. You need to go out anyway because they're making babies have babies. Like, you can't be okay with that. You can't be okay with a 10-year-old having a baby. You should be infuriated. I am. That's why I keep going back to it, because I can't stop thinking or talking about it. It's insane. Because I look at my 13-year-old like, what if I was in a Republican state? What if I was in a Republican state? Oh, so that happened. But I'm going to close out because, wow, I've been talking for like 30 minutes. There's a lot of time. So obviously I can't do Quest Quotes and Questions, which is a game that we typically play when we are live. But I can do some Black excellence. So what I did want to talk about is the NBA. You're saying, well, the NBA is not all Black. You're absolutely right. It is not all Black. However, I do want to talk about something specifically with the NBA. So the kudos to the NBA, because the NBA has created, and it's already been, I don't know when it started, but it's already been in effect, is the NBA Social Justice Coalition. And the Social Justice Coalition is an organization of players, coaches, team governors, and executives leading the NBA in advocacy to dismantle racial inequality and working to advance social justice. So I wanted to say kudos to this program in the NBA. I also want to continue to give them kudos because coming up for the midterms, November 8th, there will be 0 NBA games. None. Why? Because it's an election day. They did not schedule a game because they encouraged their fans, their players, and their staff to go and vote. The idea of the Social Justice Coalition is such a great idea because all companies, it should just be a holiday to go and vote. So there are no NBA games, and they even go further than that. This is why I love the NBA. Further than that, unlike the NFL. Further, the day before Election Day, everyone is scheduled to play. And they encourage, leading up to that, they will be encouraging people, in particular on November 7th, to vote. That is what they're using that day for. And even, like I said, leading up to that day, they will be telling people about the deadlines to register. They will be telling people where they can register. And I do recall the last voting season, some of the stadiums were open, I think, if for voting or to maybe registering. Maybe they were open to get people registered, and I believe that they're going to be doing that as well. So I just wanted to say that, God, congratulations, NBA. This is awesome. Oh, let's talk about some of the people on the board, because this was really awesome, because I wanted to know who is on the board of the NBA Social Justice Coalition. Very curious. Carmelo Anthony. Awesome. Avery Bradley from the Lakers. Sterling Brown. There's some management on there as well. There's some coaches. Doc Rivers is on there. The executive director is James Cottigan. So happy about that, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Please, again, hit that subscribe button. Like, share this video. Stay involved. It's very important. Get your people involved. Stay safe out there and all of that good stuff. Don't go to Florida. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Bye.